How to Make Anyone Fall in Love with You by Leil Lowndes. Here's a story that might sound familiar. Meet Cindy, a manicurist, who spends her days surrounded by nail polish fumes and client gossip. For months, she's been complaining to anyone who'll listen. I never meet any men. My job is nothing but women, all day, every day. One evening, just before 7, she's wrapping up with her last client when the shop door chimes. A deep voice asks, "Excuse me, I know it's terribly late, but any chance I could get a manicure?" The client glances over Cindy's shoulder and her jaw literally drops. Standing there is a man who looks like he walked straight out of central casting for Greek gods, a genuine Adonis. But Cindy? She's exhausted. Without even turning around, eyes still focused on a stubborn hangnail, she calls out, "Nope, we're closing in 10 minutes. As the man leaves, she mutters under her breath, "Who does he think he is, walking in at this hour?" A moment later, her ears pick up something. She's got this sixth sense for expensive cars, and that's definitely the purr of a Jaguar engine. She jumps up and rushes to the window just in time to see her Adonis driving out of the parking lot, and out of her life forever. She was so caught up in the rules, the closing time, her own tiredness, that she completely missed the opportunity that had literally walked through her door. How many times have we all been Cindy? How many times has a potential connection, a spark of something wonderful, slipped right past us because we weren't paying attention? Because we didn't know the right moves, the right words, or even how to simply be present in the moment? We often think of love as this magical, mysterious force. You know, the enchanted evening, the lightning strike, something that just happens to us. But what if it's not like that at all? What if love, like any other skill, has a science behind it? What if there are actual principles and techniques that can turn random encounters into deep, meaningful connections? That's the fascinating promise of Leil Lowndes' book, How to Make Anyone Fall in Love with You. Now yes, that title is quite a promise. Anyone? Lowndes herself admits it's more like practically anyone. But here's the thing. Her book isn't based on wishful thinking or vague romantic platitudes. It's a collection of 85 specific, actionable techniques drawn from actual scientific studies on psychology, biology, and human behavior. For years, scientists were just as confused about love as the rest of us. They could map out the mating habits of tropical fish, but the human heart? Complete mystery. Then, slowly, they began to unravel it. They discovered the chemicals that make our hands sweat and hearts race. They figured out why a certain smile or specific phrase can feel like coming home. Today, we're going to explore that science together. We'll unlock the secrets that Leil Lowndes spent years uncovering. By the end, you'll understand the hidden language of attraction. You'll know how to make an unforgettable first impression, how to build a deep sense of connection, how to master the art of conversation, and how to tap into what Lowndes calls the most powerful erotic organ of all, the human brain. This isn't about manipulation. It's about genuine connection. It's about understanding what makes people feel seen, heard, and deeply valued. It's about making sure that the next time your Adonis walks through the door, you're ready. Let's start with a question that has puzzled philosophers, poets, and probably you at some point. Why do we fall in love with one person and not another? You see someone across a crowded room. Your insides do this funny little flip. Your heart beats faster. It feels like magic, but what's actually happening is pure chemistry. Scientists tell us that at the core of infatuation is a chemical called phenylethylamine, or PEA. It's related to amphetamines and gives you a similar jolt, that natural high that makes you feel like you're floating. But here's the real question. What triggers it? Why does one person's smile flood your system with PEA while another's does absolutely nothing? According to Lowndes, the answer lies in something called a love map. This term was coined by sexologist Dr. John Money, and it's basically a subconscious blueprint of your ideal partner. It gets etched into your brain during childhood, typically between ages 5 and 8. It's made up of all those little things you associated with love and comfort back then. Maybe it was the scent of your mother's perfume, the sound of your father's laugh, or how your favorite teacher wrinkled her nose when she smiled. These positive imprints become your triggers. Years later, when you meet a stranger who happens to have that same boyish grin or wrinkles their nose just so, boom, your internal PEA factory goes into overdrive, and you start feeling that dizzying sensation we call love. Conrad Hilton, the hotel chain founder, once saw a woman in church wearing a red hat. He was so captivated that he followed her down the street after the service and eventually married her. That red hat was a trigger on his love map. But here's the thing. A love map isn't just positive traits. It also contains our deepest needs, our values, and even our fears. So the art of making someone fall in love isn't about being perfect. It's about understanding and aligning with their love map. Lowndes breaks this process down into 6 essential elements, 6 targets you need to aim for if you want to capture someone's heart. The first, and perhaps most critical, is the first impression. You never get a second chance at love at first sight. The moment someone lays eyes on you, their brain makes 1,000 tiny calculations. It's a split-second yes or no decision. The image of you in that first moment can burn itself into their memory forever. Lowndes shares a story about her friend Gerald, an older gentleman who often escorted several elderly women to social events, women he'd known since high school in the 1940s. These women, while beautiful on the inside, had aged like we all do. One day, some rude guy teased Gerald about his taste in women. Gerald looked genuinely confused. "But they are all beautiful," he exclaimed. Then he pulled out an old black-and-white photograph from his wallet. It showed his high school's homecoming queen and her court. 2 of the ladies he was with were in that photo. To him, they were still as gorgeous as they were in 1948. That's the awesome, irreversible power of a first impression. Because of this, Lowndes gives us our first technique, and it's beautifully simple. Be ready for love. Always. Don't save your best self for a planned date. The most important moments often happen when you least expect them. At the grocery store, walking the dog, getting your car serviced. How you look on the actual date is important, but it's nowhere near as decisive as that very first glimpse. This isn't about vanity. It's about honoring the opportunity. For men, research shows clothing is more crucial. For women, it's face and overall appearance. So whenever you step out that door, step out dressed to impress. But being ready isn't just about clothes or makeup. You also need to be psychologically fit. You have to keep your mind and heart open to the possibility of connection, wherever you are. Like Cindy the manicurist, if you're closed off, tired, or annoyed, you'll miss the magic when it appears. Now let's say you're ready. You're looking great, your mind is open, and you spot a potential love partner across the room. How do you ignite that spark? How do you make their insides go all funny? You use your most potent weapons, your eyes. Everyone, Lowndes says, is an eye person. When you were a kid, your parents probably told you to look people in the eye. Good advice, but for love, we need to take it several steps further. Powerful, lingering eye contact stimulates a primitive part of the brain. It triggers a fight-or-flight response, flooding the body with those same love chemicals like PEA. It creates an emotional state remarkably similar to falling in love. One study put strangers in a room and gave them instructions on how much eye contact to make. The results were crystal clear. The more people gazed into each other's eyes, the higher their reported feelings of affection and passionate love. So how much is enough? The average person makes eye contact only 30 to 60% of the time during conversation. To create that sense of intimacy, Lowndes says you need to push it to 75% or more. This is the intense gaze. Don't look at their eyebrows or the bridge of their nose. Look right into their eyes, as if you're trying to see straight through to the back of their head. You're sending a powerful, silent message. I am completely captivated by you. But just staring isn't enough. Your eyes need to be warm and inviting. You need bedroom eyes. This isn't something only movie stars are born with. It's about pupil size. Large pupils are universally seen as more attractive and alluring. And while you can't consciously control them, you can influence them. When you look at something you find beautiful or interesting, your pupils naturally expand. So while you're talking to your potential partner, focus on their most attractive feature, their smile, their dimple, the color of their eyes. As you genuinely appreciate what you're seeing, your pupils will dilate, giving you that soft, suggestive bedroom look. Next, you add what Lowndes calls sticky eyes. This is about what happens after you or they finish speaking. Most people look away during silences. Lovers don't. Their gaze lingers. It creates an unsettling, primal, and incredibly compelling feeling. So hold their gaze for just a beat longer than normal. When you do look away, do it reluctantly, as if your eyes are stuck together with warm taffy. It's electric. Finally, there's the visual voyage. As you get more comfortable, let your eyes slowly wander over their face. Travel from their eyes down to their lips, perhaps to their neck and shoulders. It mimics the way lovers' eyes explore each other as intimacy grows. For men, fair warning, be careful not to venture too far south or linger too long, or you risk sinking the ship before it even leaves the harbor. These 4 eye techniques, intense gaze, bedroom eyes, sticky eyes, and the visual voyage, are your first steps in the nonverbal dance of attraction. They're scientifically proven aphrodisiacs. But eyes alone can't do all the work. Eventually, you have to actually approach. And this brings us to what Lowndes calls the gentle art of pickup. For men, the rule is simple: move fast. He who hesitates is lost. When you see a woman you're interested in, you need to signal your interest almost immediately. But fast doesn't mean aggressive. It means making your presence known. First, use your eyes. Make that extended eye contact. She'll likely look away. Women are often conditioned to do so. But here's the key. If she looks back at you within 45 seconds, that's a green light. That's your cue to offer a small, warm smile and a slight nod. The nod says, "I like you. May I make a reservation to talk with you?" Now you can approach. What do you say? Forget clever opening lines. They sound rehearsed and insincere. The best opener is simple and related to the situation. What time is it? I love that watch. How do you know the host? The actual words don't matter as much as your delivery. Your first sentence is 100% of her sampling of you so far. If you open with a complaint, you're a complainer. If you open with a brag, you're a braggart. But if you open with warmth and genuine interest, you're charming. Now for the women, the huntresses. You might think the man has to do all the work, but research shows that women actually initiate 2/3 of all encounters. They just do it more subtly. It's called female proceptivity. A female chimpanzee will literally walk up to a male and present herself to get his attention. Thankfully, human females are a bit more subtle. So how do women make the first move? Researcher Monica Moore spent hours observing women in social settings and cataloged their nonverbal solicitation signals. The #1 most successful move? A broad smile. It worked over 500 times in her study. Other successful moves included a short, darting glance, dancing alone to the music, flipping her hair while looking at him, or accidentally brushing up against him. Ladies, don't be shy about this. Nature has given you the role of female choice to select the best mate. You're simply fulfilling your biological destiny. And don't worry about appearing too forward. The male ego is a wondrous thing. 10 minutes later, he'll be convinced he was the one who made the first move. Lowndes tells a story of trying this herself in a restaurant. She repeatedly smiled at a handsome stranger. He seemed stunned at first, but eventually came over to her table. The next day, he attended her seminar, and when she told the story of how her smile engineered their meeting, he looked utterly confused. He genuinely believed he had been the one to approach her. So you've made the approach. Now begins what Dr. Timothy Perper, a researcher who spent over 2,000 hours in singles bars studying courtship, calls the dance of intimacy. He broke it down into 5 specific steps. If a couple follows this sequence, They usually end up leaving together or making a date. If they miss a step, they drift apart. Step 1 is the nonverbal signal we just discussed, the glance, the smile. Step 2 is talk. One person says something, even just, hi. Step 3 is turning. This is crucial. When one person speaks, the other must turn their head fully toward them. If they don't, the interaction often dies right there. If they do, a gradual pivot begins. First the heads turn, then the shoulders, then the torsos, and finally, in successful encounters, their entire bodies are facing each other, belly to belly. Step 4 is touching. It starts with a light, accidental brush of the hand or a touch on the arm. How the other person responds is hugely telling. If they stiffen, it's a sign of rejection. If they accept it or even return it, you're on your way to becoming a couple, at least for the evening. Step 5 is synchronization. This is the most fascinating part. As they connect, their movements begin to mirror each other. They reach for their drinks at the same time. They shift their weight together. They sway to the music in unison. They've become a synchronized unit. To make sure you don't stumble in this dance, Lowndes offers a simple acronym to remember: soften. S is for smile. Let a soft, accepting smile frame your lips. O is for open body language. Face them fully. Keep your arms uncrossed. F is for forward lean. Lean in slightly to show your interest. T is for touch. Find a natural reason to make brief, gentle contact. E is for eye contact. Remember those 4 techniques we discussed. N is for nod. Nod gently as they speak to show you're listening and engaged. This simple checklist ensures your body is sending all the right signals, freeing up your mind to focus on the next crucial element, the first conversation. A conversation is like making music together. The first one has to be a beautiful duet, not a series of discordant notes. The key is discovering your potential partner's hot buttons. How do you do that? You become a detective. Lowndes calls this eyeball conversing. Watch their face. When does it light up? When does it go flat? If their face comes alive when you're talking about something, even if it seems boring to you, that's your cue to ask more questions on that topic. If their expression goes bland, gently change the subject. Watch their head. If it starts turning away, they're getting bored. Watch their body. If they start stepping back or angling away, you're losing them. Use their name and ask a personal question to pull their attention back. But what if you're stuck in small talk, desperately trying to find a more meaningful topic? Lowndes offers a brilliant technique called cherry picking. While they're making small talk about the weather or traffic, listen for any slightly unusual word, any reference that's out of place. That's your cherry. For example, you're in a coffee shop hiding from a rainstorm. You're talking to an attractive stranger. The conversation goes, "You, wow, some storm, huh?" Them, "Sure is. But at least it's good for the plants." Plants, that's the cherry. Instead of going back to the rain, you pick it. "Oh, do you have a garden?" Suddenly, you've moved from the most boring topic in the world to something personal and interesting to them. That one word is a key that unlocks their world. As you move into deeper conversation, you can create instant intimacy by using the premature we. Strangers talk in cliches, nice weather. Acquaintances talk in facts. It rained 5 inches. Friends talk about feelings. I love the rain. But lovers? Lovers use we statements. We should take a trip if this weather keeps up. By strategically using we in a sentence, like, "Wow, we've really got to have stamina for these parties, don't we?" you create a subconscious feeling that you're already a couple. You're building a foundation of connection, and the strongest foundation you can build is one of similarity. We've all heard that opposites attract, but science tells us that's mostly a myth. The truth is, birds of a feather flock together. We're drawn to people who share our values, our beliefs, and our way of seeing the world. Similarity makes us feel safe. It confirms the choices we've made in our own lives. It creates this you and me against the world feeling. So how do you create this feeling of similarity, especially when you've just met? You start with the subconscious. You use a technique called echoing. Every person has their own unique dialect, a set of words they use to describe their world, their job, their family, their hobbies. If a woman talks about her child, you should use the word child, not kid. If a lawyer talks about his profession, don't call it a job. If a musician has a gig, don't call it a booking. By echoing their specific words, you send a powerful subliminal message. We're from the same tribe. We speak the same language. It's subtle, but incredibly powerful. Next, you establish conscious similarity. This is especially important for winning over a man. While women bond by talking, men bond by doing things together. So ladies, find out what his hobbies are, whether it's surfing, golf, or just watching football, and express genuine interest in doing it with him. When you suggest his favorite activity for a first date, you're sending the message, "This woman fits into my lifestyle." He wants to know that after making love, there will be something to do with you. For men trying to win over a woman, the key is showing that you share her basic beliefs and values. A woman wants to know that after making love, there will be something to talk about with you. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about finding genuine common ground. Find a subject that's deeply important to her: animal rights, environmentalism, social justice, and show her that you feel just as strongly about it. It's not the number of similar attitudes that counts, it's the intensity of one or two. But the deepest level of similarity, the one that can make or break a long-term relationship, is your unspoken assumption about what love is. What does a relationship mean to you? How much closeness do you need? How much independence? Everyone has a different comparison level, an ideal they've built from their past experiences. If your ideas don't align, the relationship is headed for trouble. So how do you find out what their ideal is? For a man talking to a woman, it can be as simple as asking, "What, to you, is an ideal relationship?" But for a woman asking a man, who might be less comfortable with such directness, there's a cleverer approach. You can ask for his advice. My younger cousin asked me what an ideal love relationship should be, and I wasn't sure what to tell her. What do you think I should say? Then listen very, very closely. His answer will reveal his own blueprint for love. Once you've established this deep sense of similarity, you can introduce a touch of difference. This is where complementary needs come in. This is the Jack Sprat principle. He could eat no fat, his wife could eat no lean, and together they licked the platter clean. We look for partners who can make up for what we lack. If you're disorganized, you might be attracted to someone meticulous. If you're shy, you might seek out someone outgoing. Find out what qualities they admired in past partners, and then, subtly, show them that you possess those very same strengths. At this point, you've built a powerful connection. They see you as attractive, interesting, and deeply similar to them. Now it's time to aim for the heart of it all. It's time to focus on the most vulnerable and most powerful target of all, the ego. At the blazing core of all romantic feelings is the ego. People don't fall in love with you. They fall in love with the reflection of themselves they see in your eyes. Everyone, no matter how confident they appear, carries a deep-seated belief that they're special, unique, and different from everyone else. And they are. They're desperately searching for that one person who will finally recognize it. If you can be that person, they will fall in love with you. This isn't about insincere flattery. A clumsy compliment can do more harm than good. Ego massage is a highly skilled craft. It's a graceful, four-step process. Step 1 is silent praise. We've already touched on this. It's using your body language, your intense gaze, your open posture, your forward lean, to send the unspoken message, "I am irresistibly drawn to you." Step 2 is empathy. As they're speaking, sprinkle your conversation with phrases that show you understand. "I can see what you mean. I can identify with that. That makes sense." You're not just hearing their words. You're feeling their experience. And remember to keep the spotlight on them. In a new connection, the smallest detail of their own life is more interesting to them Then the most fascinating story about yours. Step 3 is admiration. This is where you start introducing small reinforcing statements, what Lowndes calls kudos. These aren't big compliments yet. They're little phrases of approval like, "That was a courageous move," or "That was really smart." A friend of the author married a woman who would praise her husband for the way he sliced mushrooms. "Oh, honey, you did an absolutely superb job." It sounds silly, but he beamed with pride. She was praising something he took pride in, and that's the key. This leads to a more advanced technique, the bullseye compliment. Before you give any overt praise, ask yourself, what is this person most proud of? An accomplished man might be tired of hearing how smart he is, but he might melt if you tell him how handsome he looks. A beautiful woman might dismiss a compliment on her looks, but she might treasure you for praising her intelligence. Listen for the moments when their eyes light up as they tell a story. That's where their pride lives. That's your target. Step 4, once you've laid this groundwork, is to bring out the big guns, the killer compliment. This is a knockout, on-target compliment that takes their breath away. It's not "I like your tie." It's something unique, something deeply personal that shows you see the real them. Something like, "You have the most incredible warmth about you," or "I sense a real depth in the way you see the world." The best way to deliver it is to look them straight in the eye, say their name, and deliver the line in one strong, sincere sentence, preferably right before you part ways. It will leave them speechless, and they'll be thinking about you for days. As Lowndes says, a compliment from a new admirer carries far more weight than one from a current lover. It's a powerful tool. Use it wisely. Now we move to a trickier part of the journey, navigating the gender gap. Men and women, Lowndes reminds us, are different. After decades of pretending otherwise, science has confirmed it. We think differently, we communicate differently, and we want different things, especially on those crucial first few dates. Understanding these differences is like a hunter knowing the habits of their prey. It's essential. Let's start with conversation. Women, generally, are more people-centered. They bond by sharing feelings and exploring the subtleties of relationships. Men, generally, are more thing-centered. They talk about cars, gadgets, sports, and business. They bond by exchanging facts and doing activities. So the technique is simple. Learn to speak the other language. Ladies, brush up on man talk. Learn a little about politics, business, or even sports. You don't have to be an expert, but being able to hold your own in his world will make you fascinating. Just remember the author's painful high school prom story. After she brilliantly fixed her date's car with jumper cables, he never called her again. Be smart, but maybe not smarter than him, in his areas of expertise. Gentlemen, you need to brush up on woman talk. Learn to be more psychologically oriented. Ask about people, feelings, and relationships. And here's a magic phrase that will make you seem like the most sensitive man on earth. Whatever she's talking about, simply ask, "How do you feel about that?" She'll be so stunned to hear a man ask this question that, after she picks her jaw up off the floor, she'll open her heart to you. Another classic difference, asking for directions. Men, for some deep, primal reason, would rather drive in circles for hours than admit they're lost. It's an ego thing. So, ladies, your job is to stay lost. Bite your tongue until it bleeds, but do not suggest he ask for directions. Never, ever ask for him. You're not just questioning his sense of direction, you're questioning his competence as a man. Gentlemen, the reverse is true for you. If you want to show her you're a rare and confident man, just roll down the window and ask. It won't kill you. This brings us to the final and most powerful element, sex. Lowndes makes a bold claim. The most erotic organ in your potential partner's body is not what you think. It's the 3 pounds of gray matter between their ears. The brain. If you can master the art of turning on their brain, you'll have the key to making them fall in love with you. The biggest mistake people make is following the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In intimacy, Lowndes says, you must forget the golden rule. A man needs to make love to a woman as a woman wants it. A woman needs to be intimate with a man as a man wants it. So what do women want? Men, if you've been getting your education from typical male-oriented content, you've been learning all the wrong lessons. Lowndes offers a suggestion. Watch films made by women, for women. In these films, you won't see raw, mechanical action. You'll see steamy sensuality. You'll see romance, emotional connection, and a slow, tantalizing build-up. You'll learn that for a woman, the story, the atmosphere, and the feeling of being loved are the good parts. Your loving her makes her respond. Another crash course? Read a romance novel. Yes, it might seem corny, but millions of women can't be wrong. You'll learn that the hero isn't just physically attractive. He's strong and sensitive. He's a man who says, "I need you, I want you, I love you." And what do men want? Ladies, turnabout is fair play. If he needs to add more romance, you need to add more passion to your romance. While love makes intimacy better for a woman, good intimacy makes love better for a man. Men are often better at living in the moment during physical connection. They can turn off their concerns and turn on their imagination. They want raw passion. Your job is to help them experience that. But here's the most important secret of all. No two people are exactly alike in this department. Everyone has a unique preference, a core fantasy that was imprinted on their love map long ago. It's often a secret they've never told anyone. Therapists report that about 90% of men have a secret desire they've never shared with their partner. For many, it's a fear of being judged, of being seen as weird. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become a detective. You must create a safe space for them to share their deepest desires with you. How? You can tell a story about a friend who had an interesting experience. This signals that you're open-minded and non-judgmental. Then, with genuine curiosity, you ask the magic question, what really excites you? When they answer, your job is to listen with total acceptance. This is the hot purr response. No matter what they say, you respond with an approving sound, a twinkle in your eye, and genuine interest to hear more. You ask for details. You become an interviewer, drawing out their fantasy. And as you listen, pay close attention to the words they use. These are their trigger words. If he says one thing and you say another, you're not speaking his language. Use his words. This is powerful communication. For women, the trigger words are often not about physical intimacy, but about the relationship itself. By asking a woman what is love to you, you can discover her relationship fantasy. Then, when you tell her you love her, you weave in her specific trigger words. You're not just loving her, you're loving her in precisely the way she's always dreamed of being loved. In the end, all these techniques, from eye contact to ego stroking to intimate communication, are about one thing. They're about seeing the world through their eyes. They're about understanding their deepest needs, their hidden fears, and their most cherished dreams. And then, with skill and with heart, showing them that you're the one person in the world who truly understands. So what do we take away from all this? When you first hear the title, How to Make Anyone Fall in Love with You, it can sound a bit like a manual for manipulation, a bag of tricks to get what you want. And if used without care or conscience, I suppose these techniques could be just that. But as you go deeper into the book, you realize that Leil Lowndes is teaching something far more profound. She's teaching the art of paying attention. She's teaching empathy. At the heart of almost every technique, from echoing someone's words to discovering their deepest desires, is a single, powerful principle. Make the other person feel seen, understood, and valued. We live in an incredibly noisy world. We're all so busy broadcasting our own thoughts, our own needs, our own stories, that we rarely take the time to truly listen to someone else's. This book is a powerful reminder that the greatest gift you can give another person is your undivided, appreciative attention. When you learn to see the world through their eyes, when you understand what makes them feel proud, what makes them feel safe, and what makes them feel alive. You're forging a connection that goes far beyond surface-level attraction. Is it a science? Yes, in the sense that there are predictable patterns in human behavior. But it's also an art. The techniques are the notes on the page, but you are the musician. You have to bring the heart, the timing, and the sincerity to make the music beautiful. The killer compliment only works if you genuinely see something wonderful in the other person. The supportive response is only powerful if you can truly embrace your partner's unique self without judgment. So here are a few simple things you can try, starting today, to put these ideas into practice. First, for the next week, practice the art of really watching people when they talk. When you're talking to anyone, a friend, a family member, the barista at the coffee shop, pay attention to more than just their words. Watch their face. Notice when their eyes light up. Listen for those little interesting details in their conversation and see where they lead. You'll be amazed at how much more you learn about people when you truly pay attention. Second, find an opportunity to give one sincere, well-targeted compliment. Think about someone you care about. What's one unique, wonderful quality they have that they might be proud of, but that people rarely mention? Find a quiet moment, look them in the eye, and tell them. Watch what happens. You're not just making their day, you're strengthening your connection. And third, become a student of human connection. Recognize that attraction isn't just a random accident, it's a dance. And the more you understand the steps, the more gracefully you can move with others, and the more likely you are to find that partner who makes you feel like you've finally come home. That was a summary of How to Make Anyone Fall in Love with You by Leil Lowndes. We've certainly covered the main ideas today, but I have to be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. It can show you the major cities and the rivers, but it can never replace the experience of actually walking the streets, smelling the food, and hearing the music. The real magic happens when you read the book for yourself. It's in those quiet moments when a particular story or a simple phrase connects with you in a way you didn't expect. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time and attention. If anything we've talked about today has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change the way you connect with everyone in your life. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book. Let's keep learning and growing together.